greatest sports debate show on the internet.
I will take my victory lap now because who was the one that was saying the Buffalo Bills window is closed? Oh yeah, that's right. It was
Championship rings. Starring Brandon Lewis.
Wait a minute, who's the one that didn't see Brandon Cooks clearly has the ball in his hand, goes down to the ground with one knee out of the ground, and then that's when they say, it's an interception!
Honestly, I'd rather watch AHL All-Star stuff than the NBA All-Star game.
And tonight on Championship Rings, we have a special guest. So not only do we have Brandon Lewis, the host of Brandon's World, Ungar to the Max, the host of the Sports Room Talk Show, as always. We have friend of the show, the man that's been on Brandon Lewis, Brandon's World, I should say, a ton. You guys know him as Jaylen Sandvik. Welcome to the show, Jaylen.
Yo, what is going on, my friends? Josh, speaking of that, I am on Brandon's World a lot. I would love to come on your show, Josh. I would love. I'm throwing it out here, live on Championship Rings Thursday. Let's get that debate going, because I've debated this man for well over a decade, which is crazy to think about. Well over a decade I've been doing this with him, and it's a pleasure to be here, guys.
Well, thank you, Jaylen, so much. We're going to start things off tonight by talking a little NBA. And, you know, Josh, a couple weeks ago, we did our top 5 rivalries in sports, and you had Pistons, Cavs on it. I told you I didn't think it was going to be a rivalry yet. I've changed my tune since these past 2 games have occurred. I think that this is at least going to be the start of a potential new era, let's say, Cavs-Pistons rivalry.
Well, yeah, because we played each other in the playoffs 2006, the famous Eastern Conference Finals in 2007, and we played each other in 2009, and the Pistons were our first-round opponent in 2016, when we, of course, went on our magical championship run. Plus, with this version of Cavs-Pistons, you have the added layer that J.B. Bickerstaff is the current Pistons head coach. And what team did he get fired from in order to become the Pistons head coach? Oh, wait. Let me think about that. Oh, wait. It was the Cleveland Cavaliers. So there you go. And what I love about this regular season series is, aside from the first game, the next 3 were all nail biters. Both teams won on the opposing team's home floor. They both were able to defend their home court against the other. So it feels like all the ingredients are there. Isaiah Stewart, of course, made his return from his suspension on Tuesday in Cleveland. You know, I was at that game. I booed him when he came in. I, of course, also booed Cade Cunningham because he can be a bit of a diva. But yeah, Cavs Pistons, the rivalry is back.
You know, I don't know about you guys. And Josh, I think I've told you this before. Jaylen, I might have told you this. My general rule is I try not to pick opponents because it's sort of a be careful what you wish for type of scenario. But if I'm the Cavs, personally, I want to stay as the 4 seed because I want the Pistons in the second round. This is where me and you disagree, Josh. I don't even think it'd be close. I think the Cavs would win it in 5 games.
Oh, I'm right there I'm with you, Brandon. I'm right there. I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm right there with you. I think it might even be a sweep because let's think about this. Let's who can guard James Harden for that extensive amount of time on that team. Yes, you have guys like Cade, and they are young and they are hungry. But if Darius Garland was still the point guard, I would say we'd go to 7. But with the addition of the man that is my profile picture, they call him Uno now. Is that what they call him?
I believe so, yeah.
Is that what they the strip? I call him the strip club king. James Harden, I think that's just firepower that you can't help if you're the Pistons, and we know as Cavs fans how bad JB can be in the playoffs. So there's another factor with that one.
I don't even look at it that way. I look at it like this. I don't think the Pistons have a second legitimate score. And
Yeah,
I think,
that
and
was
I-
clearly on just not to
Yeah.
cut you off, Brandon,
Go
but
ahead.
that was one of the biggest problems they had on Tuesday is the Cavs really bottled up Cade Cunningham defensively. All credit to Jalen Tyson, really, on that one, along with Keon Ellis, by the way. I know he ended up fouling out, but I was very impressed with Keon coming off the bench. Yes, he only had 7 points, but he was a factor defensively.
But that's not his job, Josh. His job isn't to score 15. It's to be that guy. It's to be that pest. It's to be the most annoying thorn in the side of teams, and that's what we were missing when when we first made the playoffs, and I believe that was 2021 with JB. That's what we were missing last year. That's what we were missing on Christmas. We were missing the thorn in the side. These teams
I was
knew.
giving Keon Ellis credit for that.
Right, but I'm telling you, this is what sets us apart from everybody else in the East. We have Go ahead.
You know what's funny? I know, Josh, you were at the game, so you probably didn't hear this. I don't. Jalen, did you catch what Brad Doherty said on the broadcast Tuesday night when they're talking about Detroit? And he just all of a sudden, it's like in the middle of a dead ball, and he just goes,
Yeah.
He just goes, man, the Pistons really do complain to the refs a lot, don't they? He's like,
Yeah.
JB Bickerstaff never stops complaining, which was our old complaint when he was the coach. I've always said he coaches basketball like a football coach.
Yeah, he really does. He reminds me of like the basketball, like John Gruden. If you see how much passion John Gruden has about football, that's kind of what JB has about basketball, but it just like shoots him in the foot from time to time.
And I like this Pistons team. I like the fact they're going a little bit back to the bad boy Pistons and a little bit of that Rasheed Wallace, Ben Wallace, mid 2000s. It sort of feels like. But
don't you dare forget about Chauncey Billups and
Chauncey Billups, who was the
Rip Hamilton. Don't you dare
no
forget
no one's not forgetting these guys, Josh. These guys are certified Hall of Famers.
Well, I don't know about Rip Hamilton being a certified Hall of Famer. I don't know. Everybody gets in the basketball.
Yeah, everybody gets in the basketball Hall of Fame.
So, but no, like if you were to tell me, because here's what I think, and we've all sort of had this discussion. I think the Knicks, Celtics, Cavs, Pistons are the 4 best teams in the East. I don't think seeds 5 through 8 are going to win a first-round matchup. So if you're going to tell me the Cavs could either be the 2 or the 3 seed and play either the Knicks or the Celtics in the second round, or play Detroit, it's our first-round matchup, maybe a little bit tougher against Toronto, maybe, but I would take that chance.
I don't want to see Boston. There is not a world where I want to see Boston. I'll tell you why.
Well, hold on, Jalen. We'll get to Boston in a second because we're going to talk about Tatum. Let's wrap up on Detroit.
But you touched on Toronto. That first round matchup with the Raptors. Granted, our regular season series was prior to us trading for James Harden. I get it, but we got swept by the Raptors this season.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. Now when James Harden is on the floor, that has no. Sorry for my phone going off. I'm getting alerts over here, but that has no factor in that. Darius Garland is 6'1". When he drives to the lane, he's getting hit with elbows and shoulders and kneecaps probably because he's just a little itty bitty guy. No disrespect to DG. He's a baller. He's a bucket getter. But he just didn't fit here. James Harden can put anybody on that team on the floor, on an island, go get a foul, go get a bucket.
Well, not only that, but this version of the Toronto Raptors have yet to go through the playoff gauntlet.
I know, but it's that first round matchup, it still scares me. It does.
All right,
I'm not going to lie.
Let's get to the big news in the NBA today, which was reportedly tomorrow. Jayson Tatum is going to make his season debut. And I know I've had conversations with both of you about, is this the right move for the Celtics because they are playing so well without Tatum? Are they going to disrupt some of that chemistry they've had at being the number 2 seed in the East, implementing Tatum back into the line?
No, but I'll tell you why it will fail. You want to go first, Josh? I'll let you have the floor.
Okay. Well, first of all, you know how much I love the Cavaliers-Celtics rivalry. I know a lot.
Not a rivalry.
Yes,
not a
it
rivalry.
is.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
I will fight you on this
What
one,
is Boston? Boston lost to literally LeBron James by himself. It was LeBron James and plumbers.
We have played
my
Boston.
my starting. No. Hold on. We have played Boston how many times?
6 times in the playoffs since 2008.
And how many have we lost?
It's tied 3-3.
Okay, hear me out. How many guys have been on that floor that can beat a Cavs team by themselves? Zero. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, all those guys got literally dog walked by LeBron James. And this is me praising LeBron James. Brandon's probably like, what the hell's going on here?
I'm just sitting back laughing, letting you guys have at it. So go on.
No. There's no rivalry here, Josh.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Not.
Yes, it is.
Jalen,
you are not convincing me otherwise.
I'll break the tiebreaker here. I think the rivalry was in stages. So I think 08 to 10 was a rivalry. I think 17, 18 was a rivalry.
Well, no, 15 was a rivalry because Kelly
15
Olynyk
was the start of it, the first round, 15, 17, 18. I don't think 24 can be considered a rivalry yet unless these two have a classic series again.
When prior to them beating us in 2024 in Game 3, do you know the last time Boston won a playoff game here in Cleveland? It's been a while because they didn't win a game in Cleveland in 2018.
It would have been maybe 2010. Did they win Game 1 in 2010?
Yeah, I think they did.
They won Game 2. But I think it was actually.
Wait, Josh, so you're not helping your own argument here. You're just back. No. You're just backtracking. That's what this is. This is literally just you saying. Yes, you are.
I am not.
Back to the topic in question at hand.
Yeah.
Jayson Tatum, Boston Celtics. Josh, you didn't have a chance to give your full answer, so go ahead.
Well, it definitely makes me excited about Sunday. Hopefully Donovan Mitchell will be back for round 3, even though Boston has already won the regular season series. I don't care. Because it's still a rivalry. I will fight you all day on that one, Jalen. But anyway,
you got my phone number.
But anyway, in terms of this, I keep going back to what you said to me last week on this show, Brandon, where Jayson Tatum is looking at how well the Celtics are playing without him around Jaylen Brown. And I hate this whole, is it Jason's team? Is it Jalen's team? Who's the Batman and who's the Robin? I hate that whole argument, but it does feel like that's part of this whole thing of like Jayson Tatum's like, I can't be forgotten.
Jason, I'm sorry to cut you off. Jayson Tatum is nervous. Jayson Tatum is shaking in his boots right now because he knows that Boston does not need him.
Boston needs him to win the title. I don't know if they need to get out of the East.
No, they don't need him to win a title. Are you kidding me? This is Jaylen Brown's team, and Jayson Tatum is not that guy. Jayson Tatum isn't an A+ player. He's a B+ player. Shout out Triple H, but he is a B+ player.
Actually, that was Brian Danielson who said that.
Triple H started it.
Triple H started that, but understand this. Understand me when I tell you that Jayson Tatum is nothing without Jaylen Brown, and Jaylen Brown is the all-around better player, and I will die on that hill. And I've sat and listened to the show, and I've listened to Mr. Unger over here praise Jayson Tatum like he was the greatest thing we've ever seen. And I'm not here for that. There is no world where Jayson Tatum is the first option. He's not that guy.
See, again, this is why I hate this whole argument. Just in general, because yes, you are right that the Celtics have shown that they are good. They are a very solid team without Jayson Tatum. I will grant you that. I'm not disagreeing with you on that one, Jalen, by any stretch. But what I will say is when the two of them are together, they're a much stronger team. Look at
100%.
Look at what they did, en route to their championship. Yes, they caught some breaks along the way. I'll give you that. But still, would they have necessarily beaten Dallas so easily if Jayson Tatum wasn't there? I'm not so sure.
Okay, but like again, to flip that, okay, what if they don't make their 55 threes they take? Like, that's another factor. Sometimes it has nothing to do with who's on the floor. The way they play, they live and die by the three.
Yeah, that's the way that they won the championship a couple years ago. I'm going to suggest something that is not going to make you happy, Josh, because you said you were excited for Sunday's game. If I'm Boston, I don't play Tatum Sunday.
No, I don't either.
You know what? That's 100% fair. It is.
I say, you know what? You come back on Friday, you take a couple days off, because here's the worry. And, we have talked about this when it comes to should the NBA modify, how many threes people take or modify the three-point line, is that the science is telling you that it is a lot harder in today's NBA to continue to race up and down the court, play defense at a high level. You look at all the young guys that have gone out, Tyrese Halliburton, Jayson Tatum, with these Achilles injuries, because their bodies are running up and down the court. They're running, 3 to 3 every possession so fast that I think you got to be really careful here. I mean, Kevin Durant, I know it's less time, obviously, than what Tatum went through, but Durant came back early from his Achilles injury and ended up rushing it.
I'm sorry.
Then Durant ruptured that Achilles in, I believe it was June of 2019. I don't think he came back till November of 2020, if my math is correct.
Yes, because he did that in either, I want to say it was either game 1 or game 2 against the Raptors.
It was game 5 that he officially ruptured it. He came back in game 5, had the awesome first quarter, and then down he went. That is my concern with Tatum, is, as we just talked about a little bit, is he rushing back? Because he does know, and Josh, you can say you don't like the argument or not, but this is the fact. The longer the Celtics would go in the playoffs without Jayson Tatum, the louder that conversation will become. And we've already seen the Celtics move off of Kristaps Porzingis, Alfred Simons, Al Horford, Drew Holiday to shed some cap. There have been conversations, we talked about it over the last year and a half, of would the Celtics move off of one of Tatum or Brown to save money? That was the conversation before Tatum's Achilles injury even happened.
Let me ask you guys this. Maybe this isn't Boston saying he wants to play. I think this is all orchestrated by Tatum, and he's definitely not ready, and he's probably going to step on the court and he's going to pop his Achilles again. Why? Because to circle back, it's because he's scared. So what I'm asking you is, do you agree with me? Do you think that this is all Jayson Tatum wanting to come back? Maybe just a little early, because I've seen him in practice.
I do. I think that if you were to tell me in April or May he's coming back, I think that would be more of a Celtic decision. I think the fact he's coming back now, it seemingly came out of nowhere at the All-Star break because a foregone conclusion was that he was going to be out the rest of the year, and then all of a sudden it's reported, oh, he's coming back Friday. Seems a little weird to me.
This reminds me of the analogy here of like Baker Mayfield. When Baker Mayfield hurt his shoulder and then he put the harness on and ended up playing anyways.
I don't think it's to that degree.
It's not, but it's going to hurt them more than it's going to help them.
Right now, the timing is just weird because we're getting to that point in the season where there's only 20 or so games left in the season. Every game matters in terms of playoff positioning and, where you are in the standings.
Unless, again, I think Boston, the Knicks, and Cavs are conceding the number 1 seed to Detroit. And if you ask me, I think all 3 of those teams want to be the 4 seed.
So,
I agree.
Again, I don't love the matchup with Toronto, but that's a different discussion for another day. But nonetheless, it's like these games are all very important. Of course, we have the game upcoming on Sunday where the Celtics are coming to Cleveland. And they're trying for the regular season series sweep because it's only a 3-game series. Next season, it'll go to 4, and then the years after, it'll split between 3 and 4. But I'm not going to get into all the schedule logistics and stuff right now. But, with some of these important games left, we got a possible finals preview last night between the Knicks and the Thunder. Boston still has to play OKC, I believe, in both Boston and OKC. So those are important games. So you want Tatum back for those.
Yeah, but those should be the games Tatum's coming back for, not for us. You said yourself he already swept us. So they already swept us. So in hindsight, it makes no sense. He's going to pop his Achilles again, and I don't wish this upon anyone. As much as I don't like Jayson Tatum, as much as I think he's corny, as much as I think he's not a great basketball player, I think he's a good basketball player. I don't wish injury upon anyone, and that's what it's going to be. He's going to pop his Achilles again. He's at home. We are at home on Sunday, correct? We are in Cleveland. That is an elevated floor that we've seen hurt people time and time again. Jayson Tatum is not explosive right now.
By the way, real quick, does somebody know why our fours? I thought all NBA fours were the same.
The monsters. The monsters is why we're elevated.
But is like the Timberwolves 4 elevated? Is the United Center elevated?
Well, hold on, Brandon. The Minnesota Wild and the Minnesota Timberwolves do not share an arena. The Minnesota Wild have their own arena over in St. Paul.
Okay, well, that's what I'm asking. Like, I know the Bulls and Blackhawks share an arena. Is the United Center not elevated?
The Wizards and Capitals share an arena. You saw it yourself.
Yeah. Is that 4 elevated? That's my question.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it is.
Is it because of the ice? Like, this is a serious question.
That's what they say. They say it's because it's right by the out of bounds line. So I think that's where
because the ice.
I've never heard of this
bigger.
though until this year because some team complained about it.
Yeah, because who was it that tweaked their ankle?
Was
Luka.
Was it somebody in OKC?
Yeah. No, it was Luka.
No, it was Luka.
Yeah, you're right.
Also, side note, can we just did anybody see that clip of the announcer that went in on Luka? Said that he's a whiner and he is good, but he whines too much to be great. Did anyone see that clip?
No, I did not see that clip.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. He was like, Luka is one of the best scorers in the game, but he whines too much.
I mean, a long time ago, I know it was Colin Cowherd who said that he's basically a more talented Carmelo Anthony.
Can I just address this comment super quick about the 76ers?
Yes, go ahead.
They are not a threat in the Eastern Conference. They're about as big of a threat as the Milwaukee Bucks.
They're about as big of a threat as the Raptors.
It's just
I
another
mean,
it's another
seriously.
delusional Philly fan. It's another delusional Philly fan. That's all they are.
I'll say this: I know you were talking about the Raptors. I know some people want to talk about the Sixers. The team everybody should look out for right now is Charlotte.
I agree.
Yeah, what is going on with the Charlotte Hornets? They have become like dragon slayers. I'll be frank, if I'm the Celtics, the Cavs, or the Knicks, the last team I want to see in the first round are the Charlotte Hornets.
I agree. I mean, we'll see if they can get, can they maybe get into the 6th spot and avoid the stupid play-in?
Which they seem to love being in,
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of being in North Carolina, Josh, your favorite rivalry, maybe in all of sports. I know it's number 2, right behind the Ravens and Steelers, going down again on Saturday night between Duke and North Carolina.
Yeah, the first one was an absolute classic. Holy crap. A buzzer beater for the win. And now Duke is ranked number 1. I believe Caleb Wilson is out of this game with an injury for North Carolina, which is a big loss for them if, in fact, he is unavailable. But North Carolina has been on the decline a little bit recently. They just got smacked by North Carolina State. Duke is at home. And it's Duke, North Carolina. I don't really have to say any more than that. It's going to be another fantastic game. Like they played just a month ago. And as I said, it came down to a freaking buzzer beater because that's Duke, North Carolina for you. This rivalry has had so many legendary players. Michael Jordan, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, Shane Battier, Tyler Hansborough. Okay, maybe not all of them are legendary, but you get my point.
But Christian Laettner is definitely a legend. And if you guys in the chat don't know who Christian Laettner is, I hate Christian Laettner. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. But I love Christian Laettner.
And Michael Jordan as well.
Yeah, who's Michael Jordan? Never heard of that guy.
No, but and JJ Redick, Antoine Jameson. Sure, not all of them went on to become great NBA players, but they were
correct. But people were wearing shirts that said, "I can't wait to name my kid JJ Redick so I can beat him."
Yes.
Brandon, understand. I know you're not a college hoops guy. I get it, but this is where me and Josh are gonna become. Because I've been ripping on Josh for about 30 minutes now. For a half hour, we've been arguing. Yeah. This is where I don't know all the players in college, right? But I know what it means if you go to Duke. I know what it means if you go to North Carolina. I've always been a Carolina guy. Obviously, Michael Jordan. I'm a Michael Jordan guy through and through. This rivalry is better than Steelers-Ravens, in my opinion.
I'll tell you this, Jalen. The margin for me in terms of these two rivalries is ridiculously slim. It's like a flip of the coin. That's how much I love these two rivalries specifically of Duke, North Carolina, and Ravens Steelers.
If you said for some reason, I don't know why this would ever happen, but if you said this Saturday, if football went this long, it was ice cold out in Heinz Field. Ravens.
Oh, why are you doing this to me? I know what you're gonna say.
Hold on. But at that kickoff's at 7:30. But Duke and Carolina Saturday, I'm having split screens.
Same.
But I think I'm giving it to Duke and just because I love basketball so much more. But that's it. There's there's gonna be passion. There's gonna be fists. There's gonna be tears. There's gonna be shady calls. There's gonna be questionable things, and it's gonna be glorious. And
Yeah.
it's better than Eagles Cowboys. Sorry, Brandon.
Oh,
No,
I-
100%. No, 100%. The Eagles Cowboys rivalry has been dead for 3 years now.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
because
look-
you guys dog walk them. Thank you. I appreciate that every year.
So the way I look at rivalries, I always look at it as eras. I don't care about history. I really don't. I don't care about what happened in the rivalry 5 years ago, 10 years ago. It may be a rivalry because you're divisional or you don't like each other in the past or whatever, but both teams have to hold up their end of the bargain for it to be a real rivalry. And rivalries can ebb and flow, in my opinion. Even Ravens Steelers, I feel like has lost its luster because Pittsburgh hasn't had a quarterback the last 5 years.
But here's the thing. That's a good point. Fair point. Both teams have to hold up their side of the bargain unless you are from that city. If you are say a Browns fan, because the Steelers kicked the shit out of us for years. Can I swear on this show?
Yeah, go ahead.
The Steelers kicked the shit out of us for years. So, but I still, as a matter of fact, I'm sitting right next to a Pittsburgh Steelers fan right now. I still despise you guys, and that's just how it is. Just because I'm from there. If you're from there, the rivalry never goes away. The thing with
That's a good point.
if you're from, if you lived in Philly, you would probably hate the Cowboys 10 times much more than you do now.
It's a good point, which is why I do think, to your guys' point, Duke and North Carolina always have good games because it's basically the same city.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When I'll tell you this, I was down in North Carolina during the pandemic because my dad and I went to a Charlotte Hornets game because we're trying to see a game at every NBA team's arena. We stuck ourselves right in the middle of the rivalry because I went to tour UNC and then we went over to Duke and saw their campus. One of the items at the very top of my bucket list is to go to a Duke North Carolina game, whether it's at Cameron Indoor or at the Dean Dome. I'm not a Duke fan, nor am I a North Carolina fan. I don't care. For me, that adds even more magic and mystique to the rivalry.
That's how I feel about Georgia-Bama.
Exactly. Or
See,
the
I feel
Iron
like
Bowl.
since Nick Saban's been gone, I feel like Georgia Bama has completely lost everything.
Right, but people say that about, there are people saying, oh, well, now Michigan, Ohio State doesn't matter because the playoffs are 12 teams or whatever.
Which I agree with. It only matters to you guys in Ohio. It doesn't matter to the rest of the college football landscape.
Yes, it does.
But yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It doesn't matter as much.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
How?
That is the biggest game of the year. That is the biggest game of the year.
That
game is bigger than the national championship.
And now it's not.
That game is bigger than
that. Ohio State lost to Michigan and then won the national championship. So how does it matter?
Of course it matters. Not because we lost Michigan. It's because they're Michigan.
Again, you're using a we. It matters to you. It matters.
It matters to the rest
of the college football landscape as a whole.
It matters to Michigan State. It matters to Michigan State.
No, it doesn't. Michigan State doesn't give a rip.
Yes, they
hate
Michigan.
State's
trying to figure out how to rebuild their program.
No, Brandon, I never fight with you. But I'm going to die on this hill with Josh. It matters more than any other rivalry in college football. Except maybe
it's my top rivalry in college football because of the fan bases. It was my top rivalry in sports because of the fan bases. But I'm just saying, in the grand scheme of things,
Brandon,
in the grand scheme of things of college football in general, it doesn't mean as much as it used to, and that's an undeniable fact in my opinion.
No, it's not. No, it's
not.
Because in the old era when it was 4 teams, if Ohio State lost to Michigan, they would be completely out of the playoff. Now they lost to Michigan, and all they do is drop from the 4 to the 8 seed. So
okay, but that's not about that. It's not about that.
You're only.
It's not about playoffs.
Jalen, let me jump in.
Go ahead.
Let me jump in here super quick. Because Jalen, as for everything you're saying about Ohio State, Michigan, I 100% agree with. I feel the same way about the damn Iron Bowl, Alabama, Auburn.
There you go.
Because
But again, it doesn't mean as much when Auburn stinks.
oh yes, it does.
Because what if they upset them? What if
they don't, then it means nothing.
Brandon, hold on.
Wait a minute. Brandon, if the Iron Bowl doesn't mean anything, why is the kick six one of the most famous plays in college
because
football
Auburn
history?
was good back in the day because they
Auburn's gonna win the football. Hold on. You gotta let me do it. Auburn's gonna win the football game.
Yes.
That's one of the most iconic plays in college football history.
Because back in the day, Auburn was actually a good football team, and they were ranked at the time.
Wait a minute. Here's another example. Jalen, I'll let you go after this. Do you remember it was a couple years ago in Auburn? Auburn was mid. Alabama was right in the midst of trying to make it to the college football playoff, I believe. And they went down to Auburn, and they needed a last.
That was this year.
No, it wasn't this year. It was like 2 years ago in Auburn.
This year.
They needed like a last-second corner of the end zone, game-winning touchdown pass.
Yeah, that was it this year.
No, it wasn't.
Remember, Auburn almost beat Bama this year.
They did.
But that's not. I'm not talking about this year. I'm talking about the play from a couple years ago in Auburn where Alabama, I forget who the quarterback was, but they needed a last-second touchdown pass, and they got it to survive. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
If I remember right, that was this year.
Yeah. No, that was 2 years ago. That was who was quarterback for that Auburn team?
It was Alabama.
The fact that you guys don't even remember is proving my point.
No,
That's not proving your point, though.
Yes, it is, guys.
It's not, though. Brandon,
it's a memorable moment. You would remember exactly who caught it, who threw it.
Okay, so who ran the touchdown back?
I could tell you the 2016 Ohio State-Michigan game when it actually mattered, when J.D. Barrett was 100%.
That's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
That's not what he asked.
I don't remember.
Exactly. And it's one of the most, in our field, it is one of the most iconic calls in sports. We dreamed of making that call.
It could have been
all three of us in this call right now have dreamed of commentating a national championship, an NBA finals, a big moment like that. Do not say that just because we don't know who made the play doesn't mean the play doesn't matter.
Who is it?
If the play doesn't matter, or if the play's not memorable, how am I able to recall it and even give a premise?
Because you guys have artistic memories. You guys have everything locked in stone.
No, but that's not what we're saying, though.
That's not at all what we're saying,
Brandon.
Brandon.
Let me say this to you. Yeah, fine, whatever. Michigan beats Ohio State. We dropped to 8. But you know why we won that national championship? It's because we lost to Michigan. Because they were unranked. Because they can't
mean something to you guys. It doesn't mean anything to the rest of the college.
Yeah, it does. Yes, it does.
It 100% does.
Can you imagine?
We're not going to agree on this.
Can you imagine if we beat Michigan by 40 like we were supposed to, and we went into Tennessee? We would have got steamrolled. But the loss to Michigan put all the media pressure on us.
Okay, you think that, but you don't know that. That's the problem.
What are you talking about? I don't know that.
I don't
know. Jalen, by the way, you mentioned Tennessee. I love the Tennessee-Georgia rivalry as well.
Since when has that been a rivalry?
That's been a rivalry. What are you? Okay.
Since when?
You don't watch college sports.
You guys know the name of it?
It doesn't need a name.
Well, college football has names or rivalries. We got the Red River Bowl. We got the Iron Bowl.
So what do we call Penn State, Ohio State?
We call it the whiteout game or the grayout game.
You know what we call it? You know what we call it? You know what we call it? Or what I call it? I call it Dad Disciplined Son.
Oh, dude, I'm a Penn State fan. I wish it was a rivalry, but it's not.
Me too. Because I want to go into Sad Valley. I want to go
Guys,
into Sad Valley.
Guys,
And
we have spent way too much time on this. I think this is the first time this show has ever gone off the rails to this point.
sorry, guys.
We can continue it if you want.
No,
Jay-
we could switch. We could switch.
Jalen, I think that's the longest you and I have ever agreed on something. You might want to look out the window and make sure pigs aren't flying.
Is it a full moon tonight or what?
I don't know.
Well, we're gonna start talking about NFL free agency, and let's start with the most recent news and work our way backwards. So, the Buffalo Bills today, they send out a second-round pick, 60 overall, to the Chicago Bears, and in exchange, they get back a fifth-round pick as well as DJ Moore. Now, this was a conversation that me and Josh have had really since the Bears were winning in the playoffs. I was the first one that said, and I may have even said it going back to the end of the regular season, that they needed to move off DJ Moore. They have a plethora of wide receivers. They have Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet at tight end. They need to obviously bolster up their defense, and I think Drew Dahlman retiring is a little bit of a major story that's not been covered as much.
But
definitely,
if I may interject on that, the good thing is, unlike what happened with Frank Ragnow and the Detroit Lions, where he retired or he announced his retirement later, with the news and timing of this, the Bears have time to prep and go look at potential replacements through the draft, through free agency. So, yes, it's a loss for them, I agree, but at least with him announcing his retirement now, the Bears have time to adjust.
No, I agree with that, but I like this move for both sides. I love it for Buffalo. I think DJ Moore is a fringe wide receiver S1. He may not be the wide receiver one anymore, but you think about the quarterbacks he's had to play with, Bryce Young to Caleb Williams, now to Josh Allen. You can make a case it's been an upgrade every single time, and they have Dalton Kincaid still. They have Knox. They have Shakir in the slot. You got James Cook out of the backfield. Now Buffalo can spend all their draft and free agency resources on the defensive side of the ball to rebuild that defense.
They also have Keon Coleman, even though he got thrown under a bus and run over.
Well, and by the way, Joe Brady, their new head coach, also worked with DJ Moore when he was in Carolina.
By the way, I like Joe Brady as the Bills head coach because if you remember that 2019 LSU team, he looked at what he had and he's like, oh, that's a 5-star. That's a 5-star. That's a 5-star. We're just going to go spread offense and see if you can beat us.
Yes, you guys remember, this was even before McDermott was fired. I was actually advocating for that to be the guy in Cleveland.
Yeah, I remember that. And to piggyback off it, I like this move a lot. And in that great intro in the beginning, there's a clip where Mr. Ungar over here says, the Bills window is closed. Well, you could crack that window right open a little more and let some fresh air in because they got a chance.
Let me say this. I think their playoff window is open, but their Super Bowl window is closed.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
I don't know how your Super Bowl window is ever closed when Josh Allen's your quarterback.
Right, exactly. It's the same thing with Philly. I
feel the same way about Cincinnati if Burrow's healthy. They haven't made the playoffs in 3 years, and I still feel like they could go to the Super Bowl.
Right.
That Super Bowl run was one of the worst things to happen to the Bengals. It gave them a false sense of confidence.
Yeah, but it's not false sense because Joe Burrow can be that good when he's healthy.
I would argue it's not false sense. It's that now I get it. There was a year that Burrow played all 17 games. They didn't make the playoffs because they had literally the worst defense of all time. But the last 2 years, like even last year, right? Burrow got hurt. The offense was not the problem. Joe Flacco still put up 37, 38 points, and they lost to the Bears, which is why a lot of people think the Bears may actually come back down to reality this year because they had so many unbelievable comebacks last year.
I don't know. I mean, coming from that Dan Campbell tree, I mean, you can never count out. He's got that break the kneecap, bite the kneecap off mentality, is Ben Johnson does. So I don't think I can ever count him out. As much as they're a rivalry, and like that's not a rivalry for me. Like Bears Lions, not
I mean,
a
the crazy
rivalry
thing
at
is,
all.
Jalen, you guys beat them week 18, and they played all their guys
Yeah, we did.
in
We're
Chicago.
we're coming next year. Don't worry. We're we're
I will say this. I know we're trying to do this chronologically, but do you remember in 2021, the Super Bowl 56 was played at SoFi Stadium,
Yep.
and the Rams ended up beating the Bengals. And
Yep.
why did the Rams win the Super Bowl that season? It's
Matthew.
because Matthew Stafford, yes, he's part of where I'm going with this. So don't you worry, Jalen. But the Rams forwent all of their first round picks. They put all their poker chips in the middle. They traded for Matthew Stafford. They traded for Von Miller. They went out and signed OBJ late in the season. I think that's what they're starting to do now by making the trade they did by giving up 4 future draft picks, including first-round pick in this year's draft for cornerback Trent McDuffie from the
They definitely are, because I don't know if you guys saw the report that came out. I'm sorry, I can't remember who
Trent
said it.
McDuffie. There we go.
But the report was that when Stafford hangs it up in LA, McVay will also hang it up in LA.
I think you got maybe 2 years left.
See, I think you got one. That's how I feel, because as great as Stafford played last year and deserved the MVP, in my opinion, people forget he couldn't practice the whole training camp. He was dealing with a bad back, and there was real questions about, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to have to start the season?
Can I go off the rails? I know everything's been off the rail this show, but do you know how good it feels to hear Stafford get the national praise when I grew up a Detroit Lions fan and nobody knew how good he was because we were so bad, unless you were like you two handsome gentlemen on the screen here who knew football. Like the mainstream media didn't understand how good.
You know this. I never gave Stafford his credit till he went to LA, because I always looked at it like he had Calvin Johnson. They did make the playoffs 3 times. I thought Jim Harbaugh was a very good underrated head coach in Detroit, personally.
I agree.
And they, I'll never forget the 2014 game in Dallas when Des Bryant took his helmet off and they didn't call a flag on him.
Brandon, you want to talk about tears? You want to talk about angry, maybe 9-year-old Jalen? Oh.
I still remember that 2013 Week 8 regular season game where the whole offensive line thought Stafford was going to clock it, and he jumps over the top for what ended up being the game-winning touchdown.
So, Jalen, this is a question that I think I might have asked you before, but I don't remember it. Maybe it was Josh that asked the question too.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Lions fan, obviously.
Yep.
Let's say everything stays the same. Dan Campbell becomes the head coach. They get Amon-Ra St. Brown. They get Jahmyr Gibbs. They have all of his team. But if you kept the quarterbacks the same, so if Goff stayed in LA and Stafford stayed in Detroit, do you think you would have a Super Bowl?
Oh, we'd have 2.
See, and that's where I think if you're a Lions fan, you're sitting back there saying, as much as you guys love Jared Goff, I have a question for you. Is this Goff's last year in Detroit? Because I sort of feel like it.
Close.
If you don't win
Close. Because if he has a stretch where he did the last 4 weeks of the season where we really needed him to lock in and be Jared mother effing Goff, all right, like I've been screaming from the hilltops for a year and a half to anyone that would listen, and he's not doing that, absolutely not. Now,
the loss of Montgomery is going to impact the offense.
Don't make me emotional on a Thursday.
See, I want to circle back to the Rams because
Okay,
I really like this move for for the Rams because
Oh yeah.
you watch their defense. One of the biggest problems, and I think this is part of the reason why they lost the last 2 games against Seattle, is because they can't stop the deep pass. When Seattle went to JSN or Rashid Shaheed, you know.
No, I mean, I'm sorry. They couldn't even stop Carolina. Carolina had a real shot to win that wild card game.
They did. And I think Trent McDuffie is going to be a big upgrade for them defensively.
Well, the thing is, though, he's also a slot corner. He hasn't played a lot outside. Maybe they will move him outside, but he's a smaller corner. And in the NFC, we already mentioned Carolina's got 2 big receivers. We'll see, obviously, what's going on with the A.J. Brown situation in Philadelphia. We'll see if George Pickens is still in Dallas. I think the Giants are going to be a really good potential playoff team. Obviously, Malik Neighbors. So you're going to have to deal with a lot of these star caliber receivers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, maybe even Justin Jefferson.
JSN.
JSN. There are a lot of good receivers in the NFC. I feel there's the most receiving talent right now, I think, is in the NFC.
No, I agree with you. And you are correct that a lot of the star receivers in the NFC are bigger, but maybe that's a bit of an advantage for Trent McDuffie because he's a bit smaller. He can get into these guys. Not saying he's going to become like a constant, DPI type of guy, but he can bother these bigger wide receivers.
Well, that's what the Rams need. And I'm going to tell you right now, if he's that, then they're going to be a really good team again because all you need is one. It's nice to have 2. We have 2 in Philadelphia, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, but you don't necessarily need 2 great corners, but you do need 1.
Plus, they have Jared Verse along that defensive line, which we've seen.
And the other thing is, they give up another first-round pick. They still have Atlanta's pick, but they have Braden Fisk. They have Jared Verse. Some of these young guys on defense, they are going to have to start paying. So I feel like they are putting all their chips in the middle of the table, and I think they feel legitimately right. They have a shot to win the Super Bowl, and they're not caring about tomorrow, and nor should they care about tomorrow.
I fully agree. Like I said, it feels very similar to what they did in 2021 when they had the Super Bowl in their home stadium and they went on to win it. It feels very coincidental, if you will.
I will say this quickly, Jalen, about your Lions. I believe I texted you this. I think the most underrated move of the entire offseason so far was Drew Pensy. I like him a lot.
You told me this.
I like him a lot. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he got a lot out of Jacoby freaking Brissett last year, which, believe me, I don't know how or why. I watched a lot of Cardinals games last year, and the offense was not the problem. Their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. And, you had Michael Wilson there. You had Marvin Harrison when he was right. Obviously, what Trey McBride did, I could see him using Laporta in a very similar way. He's got better running backs. Obviously, James Conner went down in Arizona, so now he's going to have Jahmyr Gibbs. I think the offensive line, taking a little bit of a step back, I think that's going to be a focus for you guys in the draft is what I personally see. And, we'll see if Calvin Shepard can get some of those corners. I think the corner's another position where the Lions need to go after. But overall, I think the Lions are in good shape. I think the schedule is pretty doable, and I can very well see a 4th to 1st finish.
I hope so.
So let me take this from the Texans' perspective, because it is interesting. They trade for David Montgomery, whereas you have Joe Mixon. We'll see if he is healthy.
From what I understand, they're cutting Mixon. He's not going to be on the team next year.
Okay, so never mind then. But Woody Marks is there. But my bigger problem with this trade for Houston is their offensive line was horrible.
And they got rid of their best one. They gave him away to Cleveland.
Yeah. So I don't get this from Houston's perspective at all. As you said, the Texans traded their best offensive lineman to the Cleveland Browns. And where are the Cleveland Browns? Punt.
Well, here's the thing. Did you guys know Houston was top 10 last year in rushing attempts, but they had the least amount of yards per carry in the entire National Football League? So what they're telling you is they don't think it's all an offensive line issue. And I think Marks is okay, but he's not an explosive back. I think that they think that their offense is going to be very similar to what they had with Joe Mixon 2 years ago. And, maybe Montgomery, because of the Jahmyr Gibbs situation, hasn't taken a lot of wear and tear. I do think he does fit the scheme because it's a very similar scheme to what Ben Johnson ran in Detroit. So I actually like this move for Houston because I think it will help them in the run game.
Yeah,
Not
but
if
Brandon,
they can't block, though.
yeah, there you go.
Well, here's the thing, guys. I mean, we're saying this. You still have a month to go. I mean, you could take free agency in April. I mean, the offensive line's not complete yet. We don't know what they're going to do with their offensive line yet.
Yeah, but we're the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I understand you gave away an offensive lineman to the Browns. But again, I think D'Amico Ryan's a very good coach. Obviously, we've seen what that defense can do. And we'll see. I think that they will get better on the offensive line as the season goes on. I mean, that is clearly Houston's one weakness.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate this move for any side, really. I think I'm more so. I think everybody got what they wanted in this trade, and I think Houston might have won the trade just slightly.
I would say Detroit won just because I don't trust Houston's offensive line.
I think it's too early to judge. That there is a rare offseason trade where you go, that team won the trade. In all sports, really, because you have to see it play out on the field. I mean, there's only a couple exceptions. The Lakers get Luka Doncic, no matter what, they win the trade. I don't think this is a case where you can definitively say this team won the trade yet.
It's fair.
All right, well, to wrestling now we go. And before we get to Elimination Chamber, we had some potential big news this week in the world of streaming and media because Paramount has significantly outbid Netflix. They are purchasing Warner Brothers Discovery. They will reportedly, from everything I've read, own all properties of Warner Brothers Discovery, which will include the linear, the streaming. They're going to merge Paramount Plus with HBO Max. And so that does come into the picture for AEW for two reasons. Not only because, one, we know that Warner Brothers does have, I believe it's a 9% stake in AEW, but two, we know now that the UFC, which is under TKO, which controls the UFC and WWE, is on Paramount Plus. And what we don't know is there some sort of restriction or rule under that contract that basically says you cannot import any competition, which would be under definition AEW, on our network?
By the way, UFC 326 is going down this Saturday. It will be Max Blessed Holloway defending
versus Charles
Du Bronx Oliveira. Thank you. For the BMF belt, it is going to be absolute barn burner. Do not miss it.
We call this cinema in the business. This is going to be absolute cinema.
Jalen, I love you every minute now. What
do we got to do to get Brandon Lewis to watch the UFC?
I don't know.
Give me John Jones. Give me Brock Lesnar back.
Oh, you mean the cokehead?
Yeah.
The most overrated fighting.
Give me stars. Give me marketing.
What about Sean O'Malley?
Never heard of him.
Stop
it.
Never heard of him.
What about Sean Strickland? What about Max Holloway?
Israel Adesanya?
Holloway sounds familiar. Adesanya does not.
What about?
Back in the day, I used to watch UFC when they had Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez and Chuck Liddell.
Oh yeah, okay. So when all the cokeheads were running it, what about now?
Yeah. Back in the day, Conor McGregor. That was now UFC doesn't really have any stars they can market.
No, that's a bad take. Bad take.
Anyway,
It's not a bad take.
Jalen, you and I will get more into UFC 326 down the road, or we can get more into UFC stuff on a different show. But anyway, by the way, AEW has been rocking these past few weeks. Last night's episode of Dynamite was fantastic. We ended up actually having 3 title matches on the show. There were only supposed to be 2, but we had
better than WWE has been in the last 2 months.
Fully agree with you there.
This whole show today is a gang up against me, and I'm totally okay with it. Go on, guys.
Revolution is going to be freaking insane. MJF versus Hangman in a Texas death match where Hangman has basically put the Cody Rhodes stipulation on himself. And it just got announced. You got Tekla against Chris Statlander for the Women's World Championship, 2 out of 3 falls. Brody King against Swerve Strickland. Bandito against Andrade. I'm sure there's other matches. FTR versus Young Bucks.
There we go.
Yes. And it was just announced Trios Championships. Kazuchika Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Mark Davis against Jet Speed and Mystico. So there you go. But in terms of this, I am very interested to see what comes of this, because with Warner Brothers purchasing Warner Brothers, I wonder if that means there's an opportunity for AEW to be on mainstream television and actually have an episode on CBS, for example. Maybe you don't run Dynamite on there every week, but if there's a special, huge episode of Dynamite, maybe you run it on CBS. And by combining Paramount with HBO, you're just expanding to a larger audience. More people get to see AEW and get to see real wrestling.
Well, that's why I'm wondering. UFC is under the TKO umbrella, which is under WWE, which technically would be a rival to AEW. Is AEW going to be allowed to be on Paramount?
That's a good question. I mean, they should, just because, like, there is no WWE anything in UFC. They don't have logos anywhere. They don't have nothing.
No, but it's still part of the same company, which when this whole conversation started about AEW and Warner Brothers, the point I made was there is a reason why WWE had made contracts with Netflix, Peacock, USA, CW, almost every streaming service in the world outside of Amazon Prime, which is what AEW has run their pay-per-views on, and obviously Max, because Nick Khan, WWE's president, and what's his name? Hawaii. I'm sorry, the Endeavor CEO. I'm blanking on his name. They want to pretty much take away all the avenues for AEW to get a new TV contract, and you can't tell me anything different.
I mean, you might be right, but you got to understand that AEW has been putting on banger shows since forever, and Josh is right. This is just going to expand with more people having these streaming services. People are going to realize that WWE is putting on a bullshit product, and they're going to come watch the better product.
Yes.
You guys think that, but it's just not true.
WWE is straight bullshit.
Okay, but again, you guys may think that, but to the mainstream audience, it doesn't matter. 75%.
But it will.
75% of people attending a WWE show, I guarantee you, have never even heard of AEW.
That's a lie.
No, it's not a lie.
Stop it. Stop.
I'm telling you. I am telling you, 75 to 80% of a paying customer that's in a WWE audience. I'm not talking about the people at home. I'm saying the people that go to shows. There are people that go to wrestling shows because they know the wrestling show is in town, and that's not AEW.
I'm pissed that you guys have Danhausen. You guys are just gonna waste him.
You guys, again,
I told you Danhausen was in the crate. I told you.
So
I told everybody as well.
I thought that was the biggest waste of time,
and that's why you're not a wrestling fan.
I have ever watched in my life.
Oh, that was so, so funny.
The crowd had no idea who it was at first.
Yeah, because you guys are a bunch of marks. You guys
again, it goes back to my point. Chicago is, I would argue, the best wrestling crowd. I think it's Chicago, Philly, New York City are the three best wrestling markets. So AEW goes to Chicago. They used to go practically once a month. Correct me if I'm wrong. They're not going there as often as they used to. It felt like they were running 2-3 shows a month in Chicago at certain points in time. So that
All Out was like always in Chicago for years.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So that city knows their wrestling. The fact that they booed Danhausen because they didn't know who it was at first. And then when they realized who it was, you heard a word of a pop from some people that knew. But Giannis Antetokounmpo was in the crowd of the Elimination Chamber. Do you really think he knows what AEW is? Because I highly doubt it. Like,
I know.
I
think guys like Tyrese and
Yachty, they may have heard of AEW. They have no idea what it is, nor do they watch it. I guarantee you that.
Okay, but Giannis is a basketball player.
But that's exactly my point. When you
it's not though, because I guarantee Lil Yachty knows what AEW is.
But that's exactly my point.
I'm not getting into this whole argument.
When casual fans talk about wrestling, they don't talk about AEW. And you can't have a guy that 75% of that audience didn't know who it was come out of the box. If you wanted to have him come out at WrestleMania or come out on Raw or somewhere else, fine. You can't have him come out at Elimination Chamber. It was the wrong spot to debut him.
At WrestleMania, Brandon, you're going to have Danhausen open that crate?
I mean, it would have been. I'm saying he shouldn't have come out of a crate at all. I'm saying if he, comes out underneath the ring or something, it'd be better than teasing this crate.
But if you know Danhausen, the crate makes so much sense.
But again, 80% of the people don't know.
I don't care. You guys are all marks with Triple H's dick halfway down your throat.
Jalen.
Okay.
Jalen, as much as you and I were going at it during the first part of the show.
So the last hour and a half has been a double team against yours truly.
Jalen, we may disagree on certain things, but you and I are in total agreement on this.
But Brandon, listen to me. This is no attack on you. This isn't me calling you a mark, because I know you're not a mark. I know you just like that TV PG bullshit. I get it.
Hey,
and by the way,
I like my Extreme Wrestling. I don't like knowing every time Jon Moxley is going to come out, he's going to immediately start internal bleeding.
Oh, I love that.
By the way, thank you, Jalen. I don't know how I forgot. At Revolution, we're also getting no time limit Konosuke Takeshita versus Jon Moxley.
Wow, bang.
He's not using that entrance.
He needs to.
He's still using the Death Riders music. But I want to start with the men's elimination chamber because the GOAT was victorious. GOAT.
Wait, hold on. John Cena wasn't in that match.
Yeah, right. Wait, hold on.
You're right, because John Cena isn't the GOAT. The GOAT is Randall Keith Orton.
So I paid a lot of money to go see the GOAT's last match for no reason. Then that's what you're telling me.
Yes, because he's not the GOAT. The GOAT is Randall Keith Orton.
See, this is where I'm going to jump back on Brandon's side here. You're just wrong. You are flat out wrong. And there's nothing I could say to change your mind, Josh. I understand that.
Nope.
But you need to understand that this man, I called Brandon Lewis as a 20-year-old man.
I'll never forget this night, by the way.
I don't call Brandon. I haven't called Brandon probably since 8th grade of middle school.
He hasn't called me like 10 years.
And I called him when Cena won the belt and I sobbed like a baby. I sobbed like a small child. And he said, "Buddy, what's up?" I said, "My childhood hero did it. He did
See,
it."
see, John Cena is your childhood hero. That's how I feel about Randy Orton.
Well, there goes our
Again,
morals because he
Edge,
punched one
Edge
and
is my
John
favorite
Cena
wrestler of all time. Jalen's favorite wrestler of all time is CM Punk. It doesn't mean they're the GOAT.
Right.
Trust me, I understand, Jalen. I understand why everybody says John Cena is the GOAT. I'm not saying you or anybody else is wrong. That's not what I'm here to say. John Cena is in the GOAT conversation. He is. I just have Randy Orton ahead of him. That's my personal preference. I just think at times John Cena can be a bit of a one-trick pony, whereas Randy.
I'm about to walk off this show. I swear.
Well, wait. Randy does the same 5 moves as Cena.
Randy has had the Legend Killer. He had an
Cena's
amazing.
been the doctor of economics.
Yeah, I was gonna say Cena has one of the most iconic gimmicks in wrestling history.
Again, I'm not trying to say anything negative about John
But you
Cena.
are. But you are.
No.
You're saying he's
Josh,
not
you're ruining your argument.
I just think everything John Cena did, Randy Orton did it better.
All right, I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna let you talk about Elimination Chamber.
Can I walk off the air? Can I pull?
Go ahead, Josh. You got a comment about the men's chamber. Go on.
Yes. I love that Randy won, and all reports seem to indicate Corporate Cody, there we go, is going to defeat Drew McIntyre on Friday Night SmackDown, regain the title, and we will finally get the feud we have been waiting for over 2 years, and it will culminate at WrestleMania when
Whoa. Only 2 years? I've been waiting this for a decade, since WrestleMania 27 when they did the handicap match with Legacy.
Did you guys forget we already got this match at Night of Champions? It was the King of the Ring finals.
No, because no one watches that garbage.
Yeah,
Anyway,
nobody cares. It's a Saudi Arabia show.
Yeah, worst. We talked about this.
You guys watched the Royal Rumble. WrestleMania is happening next year in Saudi Arabia, so
I did not watch the Royal Rumble.
I only watched the Royal Rumble because I was over at a friend's house.
And I'm not going. And if they are in Saudi, no disrespect to Saudi, I just don't like the Saudi shows. So I will not be watching WrestleMania. It's not happening.
I will say the Saudi shows are different than what they were under the Vince McMahon era.
There you go.
But
it's all gimmicky. It's so gimmicky. Go there and have a normal show, and I'd have no problem. But
that's my point. They are doing a normal show now,
but they're not. They're not.
What was not normal about this year's Royal Rumble?
Well, I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know. But
so again, I got you again. Let's see.
No. When AEW goes to Wembley,
Which again, you didn't watch, so you don't know because you didn't watch.
I watched garbage.
I did watch the Royal Rumble, and first of all, the way the lighting was in that stadium was terrible. It made it look like
the same way as the Intuit Dome is in LA, though. It's not a Saudi thing.
Can we also just say, like, when AEW goes to Wembley, there's nothing that changes. There's no best in the world tournament. There's no.
Yeah, no.
That was all under the Vince McMahon era, though.
There's no. Oh, we're gonna have Goldberg beat the Fiend.
Again, all under the Vince McMahon era. The only thing they have changed for Saudi, which I don't like it, is the Crown Jewel tournament. But they didn't even do that in Saudi this year. They did it in Perth, and they still did the Crown Jewel.
Yeah. And it seems like Logan Paul has to have a match when they go over to Saudi Arabia, which.
Oh yeah, so he can make up for Japan.
Yeah. But I didn't actually watch Elimination Chamber. I had no intention of watching Elimination Chamber anyway. I was working the Cleveland Monsters game. We'll get into the Monsters a little later. But I'm glad I didn't, because from everything I heard, it wasn't that great of a show Anyway, you know,
I disagree. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
but
Well, of course you did. You're a mark.
You
I
just
will-
said I'm not a mark. Now you're calling me a
No.
mark.
You are a mark. You're a WWE mark.
the right
Listen.
person won both the women's elimination chamber and the men's elimination chamber. I hated that. Oh, the cage door is open. Here comes Drew McIntyre. Like, we don't need all these stupid shenanigans. And
It's called professional wrestling, not professional TV show.
and
It's
you know,
actually called World Wrestling Entertainment.
All right,
Yeah.
So,
all right,
so
Vince
there's
McMahon.
an
All
E
right,
in
all
there.
right.
and by
Again,
the way,
you're calling me a mark, so I'll just live up to my name.
by the way, the Logan Paul stuff was awful. Clearly, the Logan Paul stuff was meant for Braun Breaker, and then it was meant for Bronson Reed. But the way they did it, because I did go back and watch that match, even though I didn't watch it the night of, the way they did it was not good.
The bump that Logan Paul took from Javon Evans. Shout out to Javon Evans, by the way. Great wrestler.
The kid's gonna be a massive star. I'll tell you that.
I
Yeah.
hate that. I hated the way they treated both Javon and Trick Williams. But Trick Williams is my bigger gripe. He's one of your rising stars.
Oh, he's not rising. He's there.
Whoa,
Okay,
trick.
okay, fair.
Whoa,
He's one of your newest and seems to be biggest stars, and you treat him like that inside of the chamber.
How do they treat him? Explain.
I didn't think he really got a lot of offense in, and he got eliminated pretty quickly. And I was like,
well,
what?
He was eliminated after Javon. He was eliminated after LA Knight. So he was down to the final four, and he got beat by the Crossroads, which is being promoted as basically the finisher where nobody kicks out of. So I actually think Trick was pretty damn strong. You don't have to get all this offense in and do the crowd reaction is what matters. And I think you guys always care about, let's have a 5-star death match. No, let's have a story. Let's tell a story.
Fuck your story.
No,
we're telling.
Brandon, here's where I agree with you. Because as much as I love AEW, I also like the story aspect, which I think AEW has been really strong at. But in this case, I would have liked it if, I know I was griping about all the shenanigans with the door being open, but it does seem like they're going in the direction of Sami Zayn versus Trick Williams at WrestleMania, which I really like that feud. I really like that match. Because I think it is going to lead to Sammy's heel turn, depending on how they tell the story. But I would have liked something from Sammy. Not necessarily him coming into the chamber and, giving a haluba kick to Trick. But, saying something or being on the outside of the cage. You know what I mean?
But it makes no sense unless he's going to cost Trick Williams the match.
Which I'm tying into that. I would have liked that.
Unless he tries to climb the cage or something like they did with the Masked Man. How are you going to get Sammy involved?
Like I said, he could have just been on the outside of the cage causing a distraction.
But even if you're going to turn heel, that makes no sense for his character because his character at this point doesn't do that.
It's a little bit of something different.
Okay, but you can't just do something different just for the sake of doing something different.
No,
Yeah, but you can though.
You didn't let me.
No, you
Brandon,
can't.
Brandon, you didn't let me finish. You did not let me finish. If you do something different with Sammy's character, the fans are going to start questioning and be like, "Wait a minute."
They're already starting to question him though.
Just like what you just said, that's not his character. So if he doesn't do something that fits his character, it's going to make fans raise an eyebrow and be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? It wouldn't fit Sammy's character. And that's why I believe it would work for
But
Seth.
that's when you do the heel turn out of nowhere because no one expects it. Then he can start doing the things that his character wouldn't do. Because bam, that's the turn. When he kicks Trick Williams in the teeth or something, when Trick's getting over, that's when you turn him heel. You don't do it at the chamber. Unless he was in the chamber match itself. That would be a different story.
And then there's the Becky, or let me start with CM Punk, or wait, I'm sorry, CM Pinky. There we go. And Finn Balor. I'm surprised there was no Judgment Day involvement at
Again,
all.
that is part of the story. Finn asked them, don't accompany me to ringside. I'm going to get the job done. They listened. He didn't get the job done. Now that can lead you to the face turn.
I'm agreeing with you about the face turn, but I thought Dom Mysterio would just become a bigger asshole and say, screw your instructions or your requests, and he goes out there anyway. Like,
you could have done that, but this particular story was about Punk and Balor. It was not about Punk and the Judgment Day.
No, I agree with you. I'm again, you and I are in agreement on this. I just see it a little bit differently. Which is not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not saying you're 100%
I'm not saying it's a
on
bad
the
thing.
rant.
I feel like we're saying the same thing, but in a different way.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting here. It's you guys are just contradicting each other.
My new philosophy is I don't question outside of the Dan Houser stuff, which I don't understand, but I get it. Some people like it. I have been way more patient. And again, you guys know my wrestling habits. I mostly only watch Raw and SmackDown. I have been way more patient in just letting everything play out until I judge something.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. Sorry, Josh. Here's my thing, Brandon, is me and you have just talked about going to a TNA show, correct?
Oh, TNA
Yes.
Rebellion.
Coming to Cleveland, yep.
I'm also looking into going to that show.
I think I'm gonna go too.
Never seen TNA, never been to a TNA show in my life.
I used to watch TNA back in the day, but I've glanced at it here and there, but I haven't been a full-time watcher in a while.
But let me ask you this. You're going to watch TNA because it falls under the WWE brand now. I'm going to watch the Hardy Boys. I'm being honest. That's fair. But yeah, I'll be there too, actually. So I guess all three of the boys.
It doesn't hurt the fact that a lot of former WWE superstars are in TNA. Your Nick Nemeth, your Hardys, Rich Swann.
Here's another thing is like back in the day they had all ex-WWE guys,
which is what got me into TNA. Jeff Hardy, Kurt Angle, Sting, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, and then you knew a lot of the TNA guys: Bobby Roode, James Storm.
How did you know Bobby Roode?
Glorious. I will defend
Victorious. Because they had a character, and I understood.
You got to expand your wrestling knowledge. You can't just watch one product. I don't just watch one product. I will sit there and watch WWE. You know this.
I know knowledge about a lot of AEW guys. Not everybody, but I know about MJF. I know about Hangman.
MJF is a better wrestler than anybody that's on that roster
that came in at the start of it, because I did watch AEW for a bit. I know about, the Young Bucks. But
let me explain.
Go on.
MJF is the best wrestler on the planet, and no one can tell me otherwise.
Dude, I keep going back to that Iron Man match between him and Bryan Danielson. Oh my God, it was amazing.
I think he could be the best promo. I don't think he's the best wrestler on the planet.
Oh, he is. He's better than anybody WWE has. Anybody. He'd outwork Seth Rollins. He could outwork Roman Reigns. He could definitely outwork my GOAT, CM Punk.
Are we just talking in-ring work, or are we talking promo and the in-ring?
And promo. Promo doesn't help your case, Brendan.
Oh, promo helps.
Jalen, if we ever got an AJ, Jalen, if we ever got a Seth Rollins MJF feud and then match, oh my God, hook it to my veins right here, right now.
I'll tell you right now, it would happen in the Evil Empire because it's not happening in Tony's promotion. I will guarantee you that. There is no way Seth Rollins will ever leave WWE.
I'm not saying Seth Rollins should leave WWE. I didn't say that. I just said I want to see the match. That's all.
Okay, but again, if you want to see it, MJF's going to have to jump. That's what I'm telling you.
Jump. He'll never jump.
Why?
He won't.
I wish there was a way we could do. You know, Jalen. You know how like AEW does Forbidden Door with New Japan every year.
Oh, that'd be so sick if we could do that with the WWE guys.
Yes,
but there's no benefit for WWE. Absolutely none.
But there's benefit to go to Saudi Arabia 40 times a year.
Oh, you know what it's all about, guys. I'm not denying it.
That's fair, but like,
wait a minute. Since you're bringing that up, do you realize how much money a WWE AEW Forbidden Door show would make?
Wouldn't even be close.
It would make It would make over $1 billion.
No, it wouldn't even be close, guys.
All right, I'm walking out of the show. I'm not. No.
They could not. I'm telling you right now, they could not sell out a stadium.
Nope.
They could probably do an arena, $20 an arena.
A combined WWE AEW show.
It would not make as much money as Cena's last match. I'm telling you that right now.
Yes, it would.
It would make more.
Guys, you guys are overestimating the amount of people that actually watch AEW. Okay. The audience of AEW and WWE, the audience is so big in differential numbers, it's ridiculous. How many small people actually watch AEW on a regular basis compared to how many people watch WWE on a regular basis? It would benefit AEW greatly, by the way, because all the casuals would watch AEW.
My God. We could get like
ignorance.
MJF versus Seth Rollins.
It's ignorance, God. Brandon. That's straight ignorance.
You say it's ignorance on WWE's part, and that's fine. I'll listen to the argument.
It's ignorance on your part.
It's not, guys.
It is.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
The average person that watches AEW, at best, is about between 500 and 600,000 people a week. The average people that watch NXT.
Yeah, because they're all children. They are all children. You watch the child. You watch literally superhero. Take your vitamins, say your prayers bullshit.
Then why is NXT, which is WWE's developmental brand, still beating AEW in linear television ratings?
Because NXT is different than WWE, no matter if they fall in the same brand or not.
Okay, but it is still under the WWE umbrella, and they're still beating AEW because most people don't even know what AEW is unless you are a hardcore professional wrestling fan. That is my point. That is what AEW appeals to, and nobody. I don't think you guys can even deny that.
Oh, I can. I just did. I
appeals to a certain audience. It's the same audience that appealed to ECW in 2001, which is why ECW folded, because they couldn't even get a television.
That's not why ECW folded.
Yeah, it was, because they couldn't get a television.
No, because there's marks like you that just suck the cock of Vince McMahon in the WWE.
Oh my God.
Jaylen, you guys don't appreciate real wrestling, and you never will.
Jalen, you and I might disagree on a lot of stuff, but I'm just sitting back and listening and admiring what you're saying right now, Jalen.
This is maybe the most epic show we've ever done.
Yes. But I will say this, Brandon. I will say this. As much as I hate corporate Cody, because I do, I am very much invested in what him and Randy Orton are going to do leading up
to
WrestleMania.
Didn't you text me on Saturday night that Cody should be nowhere near the title picture?
Well, now knowing that Drew has to go off and probably do some filming. It makes sense why they're going to have him drop the title. And the fact that we're going to actually get a feud between Corporate Cody and Mr. RKO.
See, my thing is, and I told you this, Josh, I told C-Boss this when we had C-Boss on, I think the last time he was on the show. My concern is no one's going to boo Randy Orton. So are you going to turn Cody heel? Because heel Randy Orton, I'm telling you, in this day and age, will not work.
Man, Randy Orton as the bad guy is so good.
But again, he's so good, people will cheer him. It's like CM Punk. It's why Punk won't work as a heel. Maybe he'll work as a tweener. It won't work as a full-on heel. You need to boo me.
Yeah, but there is no heels and faces in wrestling anymore. I pop for MJF like he's the biggest babyface on the planet.
Yeah.
Gunther is a heel. He's 100% a heel. He's the last real heel we have left. It used to be Dom, and now Dom's turning into a babyface. Though they're going to try to keep him heel. I would argue he needs to turn babyface. MJF was a heel when he first started in AEW, and then he got so popular, people started cheering him. Because, again, I made a TikTok on this the other day. Wrestling fans, and I'm included in this, we're all the biggest hypocrites on the planet. We cheer for something or we want to boo somebody so badly, and oh my God, we all wanted Cody to finish his story. And then 2 seconds later, Cody finishes his story. We all say F Cody Rhodes.
Yep.
Because that's how wrestling fans are.
Hey, I will admit I have fallen straight into that particular category of I wanted Cody to finish the story, and now I absolutely hate him.
I agree. I honestly believe that.
Isn't that the truth? That's my point. There can't be any face or heels because a guy gets a big face push or a big heel push, and then they win the title or they finish their story or rivalry or whatever. Then 3 months later, you have to turn them the other way because the crowd's turned on them.
By the way, I told Brandon this. My all-time favorite AJ Styles feud. You'll have to forgive me. I did not see AJ in his early days with TNA and ROH and New Japan. So I'm basing this solely, off of what I've seen of him. My all-time favorite AJ Styles feud, WrestleMania 35 against Randy Orton, where it started off as just like, and a little fun thing of comparing resumes, but then it got deeply personal. And Randy's talking about how AJ came from the Indies and he brings up this symbol and he goes, you guys never ripped anybody off. And,
a knockoff diamond cutter.
Yeah, exactly. Like
that's what Randy Orton is. He's a knockoff diamond cutter.
All right. We got to end the night, Josh. We're going to let you talk about the Cleveland Monsters.
Yes. So the Monsters have a huge month of March. They have 2 home games coming up this weekend, March 6th and March 7th against the Grand Rapids Griffins. And then they will go on an extensive road trip. I will pull up their schedule right now so I don't give you the wrong information. But that road trip will include the likes of Toronto, Syracuse.
Josh, I think your camera's
your
frozen.
webcam froze.
Okay, are we back now?
We're good.
Okay, so like I said, they have 2 huge home games against Grand Rapids this weekend, and then they will be at Hartford twice, at Toronto, at Belleville, and then at Syracuse before coming home to finish the month against Grand Rapids. And they have 2 games against Utica. They are just a few points out of first place in the North Division behind both Syracuse and Laval. So right now the Monsters would make the Calder Cup playoffs. And if you are in the top 3 of your division, you will get a bye. So they would not have to play in the wild card round. They would go straight to the second round. So this is a very important month for the Monsters. come on out to Rocket Arena. Saturday is Pucks and Paws Day, so you can bring your dog to Rocket Arena to see some Monsters hockey, where, again, they are taking on the Grand Rapids Griffins, AHL affiliate of the Detroit Red Wings.
You know, Josh, I think I just figured it out. I think if you switch off tabs, your camera freezes.
Gotcha.
So, but Jalen, this was fun, man. I know you're not available. You got a job at night most nights. But anytime you want to come back on the show, man, let us know.
You guys gotta have me. I'm sorry if energy was down the last hour or two. I don't know what's up. My chest is tight. I'm getting a little bit of a cough here, but
hey,
it was
dude,
fun.
I caught for 3 straight months in this show. We're good.
Dude, how long was I coughing for? Jeez.
I'll tell you what. Let's enjoy this nice weather that's coming our way in Cleveland, Ohio. We'll be back next week. Me and Josh Ford to talk all things sports. This has been Championship Range. It's been a blast. For our guest tonight, Jalen Sandvik. He is Ungar the Max, host of the Sports Room Talk Show. I am Brandon Lewis, the host of Brandon's World. Until next week, you guys all have a good one. Peace.
See ya.
Yeah.